Did you know that 40% of people over 80 report feeling completely unprepared for what life actually throws at them after this age? While everyone talks about retirement planning and staying healthy, there are 7 brutal truths about life after 80 that your family, your doctor, and society deliberately avoid discussing. These aren't just inconveniences, they're life-altering realities that can either crush your spirit or, if you know what's coming, help you prepare and even thrive. In the next few minutes, I'm going to share the raw, unfiltered truth about what really happens when you cross that 80-year threshold. Truth number 4 will shock even those who think they're prepared. Meet Gladys, an 82-year-old former teacher who thought she had aging figured out. She exercised daily, saved diligently, and maintained strong family relationships. But at 81, she called me in tears saying, "Nobody prepared me for this reality." What she discovered changed everything she thought she knew about aging gracefully. The truth is, society protects us from these harsh realities because they're uncomfortable to face. We'd rather maintain the illusion that good planning and positive thinking will shield us from life's final curveballs. But ignoring these truths doesn't make them disappear, it just leaves you vulnerable and unprepared. Today, I'm sharing Gladys' journey and the 7 uncomfortable truths she learned, along with practical strategies to not just survive them, but to find unexpected strength in each one. How old are you right now? Drop your age in the comments. This information could change how you approach your remaining years. And here's what will surprise you most. Truth number 4 reveals something that happens to every single person over 80. Yet it's the one thing nobody talks about. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell because these truths could save you from unnecessary suffering. Truth number 1. Your social circle will shrink dramatically. Gladys used to host dinner parties for 12 people every month. By 82, she was lucky if 3 people could still attend. This isn't just about friends moving away. This is about the mathematical reality of aging that nobody discusses openly. Here's what actually happens to your social connections after 80 and why it's more devastating than anyone admits. The statistics are sobering. The average 80-year-old loses 60% of their social circle within 5 years. But it's not just numbers, it's watching your world literally shrink before your eyes. Gladys told me, "I didn't just lose friends to death. Though that was heartbreaking enough. I lost them to dementia. To family members who moved them closer. To physical limitations that made leaving home impossible. The isolation creeps in gradually. Then suddenly becomes overwhelming. Your bridge club dissolves when members can't drive at night. Your walking group stops meeting when too many people develop mobility issues. The couple you've vacationed with for decades can no longer travel. Your church friends become scattered as health issues multiply. What makes this particularly cruel is that just when you need emotional support the most, dealing with your own health challenges, grief, and life transitions, your support system is disappearing. The loneliness isn't just emotional. Research shows it's as dangerous to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. But here's what Gladys learned. This truth, while harsh, can actually liberate you to build new types of connections. She started volunteering at the local food bank where she met people from all walks of life. She joined a senior center's book club and discovered she could make friends with people 20 years younger. She began using technology to reconnect with distant relatives and even made friends through online communities. The key is accepting that your social circle will change and proactively building new connections before you desperately need them. Don't wait for loneliness to force your hand. Start expanding your social world now in ways that accommodate the realities of aging bodies and changing circumstances. What's your biggest fear about aging? Share it in the comments below. You're not alone in these worries. But brace yourself because truth number 2 hits even closer to home. Affecting the people you love most. Truth number 2. Your family dynamics will change forever. At 78, Gladys was still the family matriarch, hosting holidays and giving advice. But by 82, her daughter was making medical decisions for her, and her son was managing her finances. The role reversal was complete. And honestly, nobody had prepared her for how emotionally devastating this transition would be. You see, this isn't just about needing help with practical tasks. It's about losing your identity as the strong one, the provider, the decision maker. For 8 decades, you've been building your sense of self around being capable and independent. Suddenly, your adult children are treating you like you're the child. And the psychological impact is Well, profound. Gladys described it perfectly. I raised 5 children, managed a household budget for 60 years, and taught hundreds of students. But because I needed help opening a prescription bottle, suddenly everyone assumed I couldn't think for myself. The well-meaning attempts to protect you often feel like being erased as a competent adult. The family dynamics shift in ways that shock everyone. Your children start having conversations about you without including you. They make decisions for your own good without consulting you. Your opinions carry less weight in family discussions. You might even find yourself being managed rather than respected. This creates a painful paradox, doesn't it? The people you love most become the source of your greatest frustration. Your children think they're being loving and protective while you feel infantilized and dismissed. And the worst part? Everyone is doing what they think is right. But nobody knows how to navigate this new reality gracefully. What saved Gladys was learning to communicate her needs clearly and establish boundaries early. She had frank conversations with her children about what help she genuinely needed versus what she could still handle herself. She created a dignity plan, specific agreements about how decisions would be made and when she wanted to be consulted versus when she was comfortable letting others take charge. She also learned to separate her worth from her independence. Needing help didn't make her less valuable or wise, it just made her human. The most liberating realization? She could still contribute to her family in meaningful ways, just differently than before. The key is addressing these changes proactively rather than reactively. Have these difficult conversations before crisis forces them. Establish your preferences while you can still advocate for yourself clearly. Have you experienced this role reversal with your parents or in your own life? Share your story in the comments. Your experience might help someone else navigate this transition. But what comes next is even more challenging because it involves the one thing we all take for granted. Truth number 3. Your body will betray you in ways you never expected. Gladys exercised religiously, ate well, and had regular checkups. She thought she was prepared for typical aging, maybe some arthritis. Possibly needing glasses, perhaps moving a bit slower. But nothing prepared her for the cascade of seemingly unrelated health issues that began at 80. Or how they would compound in ways that made simple daily tasks feel impossible. Here's what the health advice doesn't tell you. After 80, your body doesn't just age, it begins failing in multiple systems simultaneously. It's not just one problem you can manage, it's 3, 4, or 5 interconnected issues that create a domino effect of limitations. Gladys' experience was typical. Her mild arthritis made it harder to exercise, which weakened her muscles, which affected her balance, which made her afraid to walk, which led to further muscle loss and isolation. Her slight hearing loss made social situations exhausting, so she avoided them, leading to depression, which affected her sleep, which impacted her cognitive function, which made her family worry and become more protective. The cruelest part? Your mind often stays sharp while your body becomes increasingly unreliable. You know exactly what you want to do, how you used to do it, and why you can't do it anymore. You're trapped in a body that no longer follows your mental commands. And the frustration is, well, maddening. Simple tasks become complex problems. Opening a jar requires planning and multiple tools. Getting dressed becomes a strategic operation. Stairs turn into mountains. Your own home becomes filled with obstacles and dangers you never noticed before. But here's what Gladys discovered. The key isn't fighting these changes or pretending they don't exist. It's adaptation and acceptance. She learned to modify her environment before she desperately needed to. She installed grab bars while she could still install them herself. She reorganized her kitchen to keep frequently used items within easy reach. She bought adaptive tools before her pride made her resist them. Most importantly, she learned to separate her identity from her physical capabilities. She was still intelligent, experienced, and valuable even when her body wasn't cooperating. She focused on what she could control and found creative ways to work around what she couldn't. The secret is being proactive about accommodations rather than reactive. Don't wait until you're struggling to make changes. Anticipate needs and address them while you still have the energy and motivation to adapt effectively. What health challenge has surprised you most as you've aged? Tell us in the comments below. Sharing these experiences helps others prepare. But nothing could have prepared Gladys for truth number 4. The one that affects every single person over 80 but that nobody acknowledges. Truth number 4. You'll become invisible to society. This was the truth that devastated Gladys most. She first noticed it at the grocery store when the cashier looked right through her. Then at the doctor's office when staff spoke about her to her daughter as if she wasn't there. By 82, she realized she had become essentially invisible to the wider world. And the psychological impact was honestly crushing. Society stopped seeing people over 80 as full individuals with opinions, desires, and contributions. You become a category rather than a person. Elderly, senior, grandma, reduced to your age rather than recognized for your complexity. Strangers speak to you in patronizing tones if they acknowledge you at all. This invisibility shows up everywhere. Waiters ask your younger companions what you want to eat instead of asking you directly. Store clerks become impatient when you need extra time. Your insights in conversations are dismissed or ignored. People assume you don't understand technology, current events, or modern life. The cruelest manifestation? Your own family starts doing it. They discuss your care in front of you as if you can't understand or contribute to the conversation. Your preferences become less important than what others think is best for you. Your decades of experience and wisdom are overshadowed by assumptions about your mental capacity. Gladys described feeling like she was disappearing in plain sight. I went from being someone people sought out for advice to someone people talked around. My opinions stopped mattering. My experiences were dismissed as old-fashioned. I felt like I was becoming a ghost in my own life. This invisibility isn't just hurtful, it's dangerous. When society stops seeing you as a full person, you become vulnerable to neglect, abuse, and exploitation. Your needs get overlooked, your rights get trampled, and your voice gets silenced. But Gladys learned to fight back strategically. She refused to accept dismissive treatment and politely but firmly corrected people who spoke about her instead of to her. She maintained her appearance and posture to command respect. She stayed informed about current events so she could contribute meaningfully to conversations. Most importantly, she surrounded herself with people who valued her for who she was. Not just tolerated her because of her age. She sought out environments where older adults were respected and their contributions valued. The key is recognizing this invisibility early and actively working to maintain your visibility and voice. Don't accept being overlooked or dismissed. Speak up for yourself and demand the respect you deserve. Have you felt invisible as you've aged? How did you handle it? Share your experience in the comments. Your strategy might help someone else maintain their dignity. But the next truth hits where it hurts most: your financial security. Truth number 5. Your finances will work against you. Gladys thought she had prepared financially for retirement. She had a pension, social security, and modest savings. But what she didn't anticipate was how the financial system would systematically work against her after 80. Creating expenses she never imagined and limitations she never expected. The hidden costs of aging. They go far beyond what any retirement calculator includes. Medical expenses explode, not just from major illnesses but from the cumulative cost of managing multiple chronic conditions. Prescription medications can cost hundreds of dollars monthly. Home modifications for safety and accessibility require thousands. And if you need any level of care assistance, costs can quickly consume your entire life savings. But it's not just the big expenses, it's the nickel and diming that adds up. You need grocery delivery because you can't drive. You pay for services you used to do yourself. You require specialized equipment from grab bars to medical alert systems. Transportation becomes expensive when you can't drive but still need to get to appointments. Meanwhile, your fixed income becomes increasingly inadequate. Social Security barely keeps pace with general inflation. But healthcare costs and senior-specific expenses rise much faster. Your purchasing power actually decreases each year, meaning you can afford less despite having the same income. Gladys discovered another cruel reality. Financial institutions often discriminate against older adults. Banks question your decisions more scrupulously. Credit card companies may reduce your limits. Loan applications face additional scrutiny. Some financial products become unavailable to you simply because of your age. The psychological impact is devastating. After a lifetime of financial independence, you're suddenly vulnerable and dependent. Every expense must be carefully considered. You might need to make choices between medications and groceries, between staying warm and staying fed. Worse still, older adults become prime targets for financial scams and exploitation. Criminals specifically target people over 80, knowing they may be isolated, trusting, or cognitively vulnerable. Family members sometimes take advantage as well, justifying financial abuse as helping manage your money. But Gladys learned to protect herself strategically. She automated her essential expenses to ensure bills were paid reliably. She set up trusted person alerts on her accounts to prevent unauthorized transactions. She learned to recognize and avoid common scams. She explored resources available to seniors, from utility assistance programs to prescription drug savings plans. Most importantly, she accepted help when needed while maintaining as much control as possible. She involved trusted family members in financial oversight without surrendering her autonomy completely. The key is preparing for these financial realities before you're forced to react to them. Understand the true costs of aging. Explore available resources, and put protective measures in place while you can still advocate for yourself effectively. What financial surprise caught you off guard as you aged? Share your experience in the comments below. Your story might help others prepare better. But the next truth is the one everyone avoids discussing, even though it affects every single day of life after 80. Truth number 6. You'll face your own mortality daily. For most of your life, death feels distant and abstract. After 80, it becomes your daily companion. Gladys described the moment this reality hit her. I woke up one morning and realized I had more friends in the cemetery than in my phone contacts. Death wasn't something that happened to other people anymore. It was waiting for me too. This isn't about being morbid or depressed. It's about the mathematical reality of aging. Your peers are dying regularly. Your spouse may be gone. Your siblings are facing serious health issues. Every phone call could bring news of another loss. Death stops being a distant possibility and becomes an ever-present reality. The psychological weight is enormous. You attend more funerals than birthdays. You read obituaries looking for familiar names. You calculate odds and wonder when your turn will come. Every health issue feels potentially terminal. Every goodbye could be your last. Gladys explained the daily mental burden. I'd wake up and my first thought was often about who else might be gone. I'd see an ambulance and wonder if it was for someone I knew. I'd feel chest pain and think, this is it. Death wasn't just a fact of life anymore. It was shadowing every moment. This constant awareness of mortality affects everything. You hesitate to make long-term plans. You question whether investments or improvements are worthwhile. You feel urgent about things you've been putting off. You experience grief not just for those you've lost, but for the person you used to be and the future you're running out of time to experience. But perhaps most challenging is the isolation this creates. Younger people are uncomfortable discussing death, so you can't share these thoughts with most family members or friends. You're supposed to stay positive and not dwell on mortality, but ignoring it doesn't make it go away. However, Gladys discovered something unexpected. Confronting mortality directly can actually be liberating. When you stop running from the reality of death, you start living more intentionally. Trivial concerns lose their power over you. You focus on what truly matters. You express love more freely because you know time is limited. She learned to channel her awareness of mortality into purposeful living. She wrote letters to family members sharing her wisdom and love. She created a legacy project documenting family history. She forgave old grudges because holding on to anger felt like a waste of precious time. Most importantly, she found peace in accepting what she couldn't control while taking charge of what she could. She couldn't prevent death, but she could influence how she lived her remaining years. The key is transforming your relationship with mortality from fearful avoidance to acceptance and purpose. Use the awareness of life's finite nature to prioritize what matters most and live with greater intention. How do you find meaning and purpose in your later years? Share your perspective in the comments below. Your approach might inspire others facing similar thoughts. But the final truth is the most surprising of all. And it changes everything. Truth number 7. You'll discover unexpected strength and wisdom. Here's the truth that surprised Gladys most after losing so much: friends, health, independence, visibility. She discovered strengths and insights she never knew she possessed. This final truth is the most important because it transforms all the previous harsh realities into sources of unexpected power. When you've survived 8 decades of life's challenges, you develop a resilience that's unshakable. You've weathered wars, recessions, personal losses, health scares, and countless other difficulties, you realize that if you've made it this far, you're stronger than you ever imagined. The problems that once seemed overwhelming now feel manageable because you have decades of evidence that you can survive and adapt. Gladys discovered that losing her physical strength revealed her mental and emotional power. Unable to do things the old way, she found creative solutions and workarounds that were often better than her original approaches. She learned that needing help didn't make her weak, it made her wise enough to accept support when it was available. The invisibility that initially hurt so much became a strange kind of freedom. When society stops having expectations of you, you're liberated to be exactly who you are. You can speak your truth without worrying about career consequences or social approval. You can pursue interests you never had time for when you were busy meeting everyone else's expectations. Financial limitations force creativity and resourcefulness. Gladys learned to find joy in simple pleasures she'd overlooked for decades. She discovered that happiness didn't require spending money. It required paying attention to moments and relationships she'd previously taken for granted. Even facing mortality daily gave her unexpected clarity about priorities. She stopped wasting energy on grudges, stopped worrying about others' opinions, and started focusing entirely on what brought her genuine satisfaction and meaning. The awareness of limited time made every interaction more precious and every experience more vivid. Most surprisingly, Gladys found that her accumulated wisdom became her greatest asset. 8 decades of experience gave her perspectives that younger people desperately needed but couldn't acquire any other way. She realized that her stories, insights, and hard-earned knowledge were invaluable gifts she could share with others. She discovered the profound satisfaction of mentoring younger people, sharing her life lessons, and contributing to her community in ways that only someone with her experience could. Her age, which society treated as a liability, became her greatest source of value and purpose. The final realization that changed everything. All of the harsh truths about aging after 80 are also opportunities for growth, connection, and meaning. The challenges force you to develop new strengths. The losses help you appreciate what remains. The limitations inspire creativity and resilience. What wisdom would you share with younger generations about aging and life? Drop your insights in the comments below. Your perspective could change someone's entire approach to getting older. Gladys' journey from that tearful phone call to becoming an advocate for honest conversations about aging shows how confronting these truths transforms your entire perspective. Instead of being blindsided by each challenge, she prepared for them proactively. Instead of feeling like a victim of aging, she became empowered by her awareness and preparation. She built new friendships before her old ones disappeared. She established her boundaries with family before crisis forced difficult conversations. She adapted her home and lifestyle before health issues made changes emergency situations. She protected her finances before vulnerability made her a target. She found meaning in mortality before despair could take hold. Most importantly, she learned that these harsh truths, while difficult, are also the pathway to a different kind of strength and wisdom. By 84, she was leading a support group for other seniors, sharing these insights and helping others navigate their own aging journey with dignity and purpose. Her message is clear. You can't prevent these realities, but you can prepare for them. You can't avoid the challenges of aging, but you can face them with knowledge, strategy, and support. The harsh truths about life after 80 aren't meant to frighten you. They're meant to empower you to age consciously and intentionally. If this video opened your eyes to realities you hadn't considered, hit that like button to help other seniors find this crucial information. Share it with someone who needs to prepare for these truths or who might be facing them right now. Which of these 7 truths resonated most with you? Tell us in the comments. Your perspective helps build a community where we can discuss aging honestly and supportively. Subscribe for more real talk about the realities of aging. Because knowledge is power and preparation is everything.